Okay, we're back with screencast number 11 of Homeostasis 6.6. All right, so again, the menstrual cycle is controlled by hormones. All right, there are two key groups of hormones. One is called the pituitary hormones, released by the pituitary gland in the brain. The other is the ovarian hormones, produced by the ovary. Pituitary hormones act on the ovaries, and the ovarian hormones act on the uterus. So where the target cells are for both of them. So let's take a look at what happens to those. So we're talking about what is the function of these hormones? Where are they during the day? So let's take a look first at FSH. FSH, the main function is to stimulate the growth of the follicle. All right, and the follicle contains the egg, so stimulate the growth of the egg. It also stimulates the production of estrogen. All right, so stimulates the production of estrogen. You'll see that because that's a positive feedback loop coming up. All right, luteinizing hormone up on top. Luteinizing hormone is the hormone that causes ovulation. So think ovulation, think LH. All right, this one is the closest one to day 14. I know FSH and estrogen, are all high at that time, but luteinizing hormone stimulates ovulation. It also results, as a side, in the result of the corpus luteum during the beginning of the luteal phase. So follicle, growth of the egg, LH, ovulation. Estrogen. Okay, estrogen, the main job is to thicken the lining of the uterus, both before pregnancy and if pregnancy happens during pregnancy, lining of the endometrium. All right, and as you'll see in the next, it's going to both stimulate and inhibit FSH and LH production, but we'll wait for the next panel to do that. So there's a secondary function here. Progesterone is a hormone which thickens the lining of the endometrium. So very high in the expectancy of pregnancy, very low in other times of the menstrual cycle. So that one portion right there. So we have the function of them. Now let's go take a look at negative and positive feedback loops here. So first thing we want to show you here, these are the notes from the key events of the menstrual cycle that I forgot to show you before, but they will be there when I put it up a little bit later on. All right, so let's go over, all right, what the functions are that I just said. You should know that you have a part of the brain, big part number 4 of the brain is called the hypothalamus. Not a gland, but it does release, okay, a hormone, all right? And that hormone is called gonadotropin releasing hormone. So that hormone from the master part of the brain is secreted to the pituitary gland, giving the message to the pituitary to secrete the following 2 hormones that we just had on there. So the pituitary hormones include LH and FSH. There you see the functions again. Get ovary out of there. All right, so the main function, growth of the egg for FSH, and stimulates ovulation. You have a couple secondary functions here. All right, we'll go over that on the next panel. The ovarian hormones, all right, estrogen stimulates the growth and repair of the uterus and stimulates and maintains the uterine lining. However, they all play into each other and work with high and low levels. So you'll see secondary functions on the next page. All right, so positive and negative feedback loops. All right, let's go over the negative first, which means, remember, negative is high levels of something bring down levels of something else. All right, so we separate this before day 14. So before ovulation, estrogen blocks the release of FSH to stop follicle development. So follicle is developed, it's maturing. At higher levels of estrogen is going to stop. So high levels of estrogen starts blocking releases of FSH, stop follicle development. So negative feedback. After day 14, you read it there, high levels of progesterone and estrogen inhibit the production of LH and FSH because you don't want another follicle being produced during possible pregnancy. So there's for that. And I think we have positive feedback examples. Positive means further stimulation. So during the follicular phase, pay close attention to this one. You can take a look, or stop and go back and take a look at the graph. So estrogen stimulates FSH to cause more FSH production, especially in the beginning of the follicle stage. Okay? Which is then going to cause more production of estrogen. So high levels of estrogen in the end are going to cause more estrogen to be produced because it stimulates FSH, which causes more estrogen production. So that's a positive feedback. All right, just before day 14, estrogen reaches its highest level, causing high levels of LH to be produced. So you have that there. And I think we have one. All right, so you have a couple of examples here. You have another map of the entire system. I prefer the one that we had. Okay, and that will conclude. Oh, look, that is it. That is a rupturing ovary in a female. I don't think it's a female, a human, but it is a female. So this is the liquor folliculi that comes out. All right, swept up. Is going to be captured by a fallopian tube. Okay, that ends this screencast.